Hi everyone, and welcome to another crazy yet awesome theory, courtesy of yours truly, Warhawk Beyond 2040, and today I'm going to discuss with you my theory on how I'd like to see the Fantastic Four be brought into the Phase 4 of the MCU movies. Now, I know I did a very similar video to this, but that was more about who I'd like to see be casted if the Fantastic Four was ever brought into the MCU, but I never really done a video where I discussed how I'd like to see these guys be brought into the MCU. So this video is purely about my theory on how I'd like to see the Fantastic Four be brought into the MCU. I've been a fan of the Fantastic Four for many years, and it still boggles my mind to this day why the Fantastic Four have never really had a classic movie. I mean, they've been around for forever, since 1961, and in that whole history they've only ever had 4 live action movies in total, which isn't really a lot when you compare to other characters in Marvel who've had quite a lot of films. So let's go through the films that they've had so far. The first one they had was back in 1994, and it was pretty dated, as you can see here. Very low budget, but I consider it to be one of the better efforts in terms of the visual, and it was a lot more closer to the old comic books, and it's never been released to this day. I think it's available on YouTube somewhere, you can watch it, but it's okay for what it was, but it wasn't the greatest. But it wasn't until the 2000s when we would see another Fantastic Four film. The first one was released in 2005, and the second one, which was called Rise of the Silver Surfer, which was released in 2007. Visually better than the 1994 movie, but they still wasn't that great, and I just felt a lot of it was pretty dry, really. And just recently we had the 2015 version of the Fantastic Four. To be honest, I've never seen the movie. I don't plan on seeing the movie. I don't even think I've seen a trailer of it. I've heard it was really bad, and yeah, enough said really. My first exposure to the Fantastic Four was the 1967 cartoon from Hanna-Barbera. I used to watch this back in the early to mid 90s when it used to be aired on Cartoon Network, and it's completely blew my mind, especially for all those years, and it was absolutely fantastic, no pun intended. My dad remembers this, mainly because a lot of the stories they did for the episodes were pretty much adapted from the comic books and made into animation. So this was my first real exposure to the Fantastic Four, and I absolutely loved it. It's still a bit of a crime to this day why it hasn't been released on DVD. There's probably legal reasons why, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was like reading a comic book just with voiceover, and everything about it was just cool. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is something you would definitely see in a comic book, especially at that time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But the cartoon that holds most dear to my heart is, of course, the 90s cartoon, which used to come on Fox Kids. The first season was okay, pretty silly in some parts, but I thought it was okay. It was a lot of fun to watch. But I felt the second season, which was this one, of the Fantastic Four, had a lot more balls to it. It was a lot more serious, a lot more story driven, and some of it was quite darker in some places, and it was definitely more closer to the modern comics. I remember a lot of famous heroes appeared in the Fantastic Four, like Thor, Black Panther, to name a few, and they did a lot of story arcs as well, mainly the Inhumans, and it was really cool. I just recently bought the Fantastic Four cartoon, which I think came out in 2007, and it was slammed by a lot of people, but I thought it was really cool because of the anime sort of style of design they went for the show, and I absolutely loved it. It doesn't really get enough love, and I thought it was criminally underrated. There's some really good stuff on there. I highly recommend checking it out. It's really good. With Avengers Endgame set to be released this month, there has been a lot of questions asked about which direction Marvel Studios will go in after the Phase 3 of the movies is completed. There has been teases of certain characters set to be killed off. There's also been rumours of big surprises in this movie. And this is going to be bringing me to my theory on how I'd like to see the Fantastic Four be brought into the MCU for the Phase 4 of the movies. Now, going back to, I think, Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony Stark sold the Avengers Tower to a mystery buyer. There's been no hint of who the mystery buyer is, no name, nothing. Nothing's been hinted or referenced whatsoever. But we do know that the tower has been sold. Now, I would like to see, for maybe an end credit scene perhaps, that the mystery buyers for the tower is revealed as none other than the Fantastic Four. So what you could have when we're introduced to these guys is have them already fully established as a team, rather than doing the whole origin story again, because it's been done already and there's no need to do it. They've been together for maybe a couple of years, so they already know each other, and maybe you could do the origin as like a quick number of flashbacks. Maybe you could have one at the beginning of the movie or somewhere in the middle. I don't know, just like little quick flashbacks. Because unlike the Avengers and the X-Men, the Fantastic Four are more of a family, and that's something I'd love to see the film delve into more, is the family aspects of the team. Reed Richards is married to Sue, she has her brother Johnny Storm, and you've got Ben Grimm, who's like the best friend slash like big brother to these guys. So I'd love to see them focus more on the family side of their character. And also one other thing, I'd like to see them take on the Skrulls. So maybe you could have the Skrull as the main bad guys for the first film. We've already seen the Skrull in Captain Marvel, so what you could have is that more Skrulls are living on Earth posing as humans, so this is preparing for like a Skrull invasion, and they could do battle with the Skrulls' main heavy hitter, Super Skrull. Now, for many of you who remember Super Skrull from the comic books and the cartoons, Super Skrull was like this big Skrull who had all the abilities of the Fantastic Four, and he was able to match up with them blow for blow, strength for strength, power for power. And I think that'd make for a really badass movie, because like I said in the previous video, the Fantastic Four are long overdue to having a great film. They've been around forever and they truly deserve it. And while we're at it, maybe they could lay the groundwork and start hinting at Doctor Doom. I'll be doing another video, a separate video, on how I'd like to see Doctor Doom be brought into the MCU. But that's it for now, guys. I'm going to leave this here for all of you. Let me know what your thoughts and comments are down below. Is this how you would bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU, or do you have another theory or take on how you'd like to see this be done? Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next time.